Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we'll delve into a brewing storm between two brothers, Drew Cain and Jason Morgan, whose long-standing tension and unspoken secrets are about to ignite in a dramatic confrontation. Buckle up, because what's coming is sure to shake up Port Charles and have fans on the edge of their seats. In the latest developments, Drew's actions regarding his son, Danny, are sure to provoke Jason's fury, with a showdown between the two brothers looming. If you're a General Hospital fan, you'll want to stay tuned for what's to come. This is going to be a pivotal moment in the saga of these two iconic characters. For years, Jason Morgan has harbored a huge secret: Danny, the young boy he loves as his own son, is not actually his biological child. In a twisted turn of fate, Drew Cain, Jason's brother, is Danny's biological father. Jason has kept this revelation buried deep, fearing the consequences it might have on his family and his relationship with both Drew and Danny. However, as time has passed, Jason has begun to reconsider keeping the secret. In fact, it seems that Jason might be ready to confront Drew with the truth about their son, but the question is, will he? And if so, how will Drew react to this life-altering revelation? One of the driving forces behind Jason's potential confrontation with Drew is the way Drew has treated Danny over the years. While Jason has become somewhat accustomed to Drew's unpredictable and often frustrating behavior, there is one issue that consistently crosses a line for him: Drew's treatment of his son. This ongoing irritation has only intensified with Drew's recent actions. As viewers will remember, Drew has been firm about his stance on keeping Danny away from his biological sister, Scout Quartermain. Despite Jason's protests, Drew has stood his ground, and the situation has now escalated into a full-blown conflict. The underlying issue is that Danny, who has long desired a bond with his younger sister, is being kept apart from Scout because of Drew's rigid decisions. This situation reached its peak during recent negotiations with Alexis Davis. Drew, determined to maintain his stance, refused to budge on the matter of the restraining order that kept Danny away from Scout. While Alexis, acting in her capacity as a lawyer, was sympathetic to the idea of maintaining familial bonds, she had little choice but to accept Drew's terms. For her, it was a matter of ensuring that Scout's best interests were considered, even if that meant leaving Danny out of the equation. Alexis, ever the professional, had to swallow her frustration and do her best to navigate the tough waters of a deal that she knew would leave a lot of bad feelings in its wake. While she managed to secure some time for Scout with her extended family, Molly Lansing Davis, Christina Corinthos Davis, and Rocco Falconeri, the deal was hardly a victory. It only highlighted the growing divide between Drew and Jason's families, especially Danny, who was left on the outside looking in. It's no surprise that Danny, a boy who has always been eager to form relationships with those around him, is growing increasingly upset by the situation. His desire to be closer to Scout, his younger sister, is something that resonates deeply with fans. Danny, after all, is not just a pawn in Drew's ongoing struggle with Jason, he is a child who wants to build family connections. As this conflict continues to unfold, Danny is bound to become even more frustrated. He's watching as Scout gets to spend time with others in the family, while he remains isolated. This separation is particularly painful for him, and it's only a matter of time before Danny's feelings spill over into the open. For Jason, the situation is even more complicated. As a father figure to Danny, Jason has always had his son's best interests at heart. He is deeply protective of Danny, and the idea of his son being kept away from his sister, especially over a petty dispute between brothers, is something that enrages him. Jason is not one to back down from a fight, and his protective instincts will undoubtedly drive him to confront Drew head-on. If he does choose to reveal the truth about Danny's parentage, it will be a moment that will alter the dynamics between the two brothers forever. Jason has never been one to shy away from difficult decisions, and the upcoming confrontation could serve as the catalyst that finally forces Drew to reckon with the reality of their shared past. As Jason grapples with his decision to either reveal the truth or continue to protect Drew from the secret, there are many factors at play. The emotional stakes are incredibly high, as both brothers have deep-rooted issues that have festered over time. Drew, for his part, has had his own share of struggles. His life was forever altered when he was presumed dead, only to return years later with a new identity. Drew's sense of self has always been tied to the mystery of who he truly is, and now, with the truth about Danny's parentage looming, his whole world could come crashing down. On the other hand, Jason's protective nature, combined with the guilt he feels about hiding the truth, will make the situation even more emotionally charged. Looking ahead, it seems inevitable that this conflict will culminate in a heated confrontation between the brothers. The emotional fallout from this revelation will undoubtedly be significant, affecting not only Drew and Jason but also the other members of their families. What will this revelation mean for Danny's relationship with Drew? Will it strengthen the bond between Jason and his son, or will it further complicate the already strained dynamics within the Quartermaine family? These are the questions that fans of General Hospital will be eagerly watching unfold. In the midst of all this tension, there is also the question of how other characters will respond. Will Alexis continue to serve as a mediator in this conflict, or will she become more involved in the emotional aspects of the drama? Her role as a lawyer often places her in the position of managing these kinds of disputes, but she also has personal ties to both Jason and Drew. It's possible that Alexis could play a pivotal role in guiding both brothers through this difficult situation, though her loyalty to both sides will undoubtedly be tested. As the drama unfolds, one thing is clear: Danny's desire to connect with his sister, Scout, is at the heart of this conflict. His journey of seeking connection and acceptance will no doubt resonate with viewers, and his plight will continue to fuel the emotional tension between Jason and Drew. This long-standing family feud is about to come to a head, and the repercussions will be felt across the entire Quartermaine family. In the end, the truth about Danny's parentage may very well be the thing that shatters the already fragile relationship between Jason and Drew. How this revelation will play out remains to be seen, but one thing is for certain: it will be a game-changer for everyone involved. As fans of General Hospital know all too well, family drama is never simple, and this latest chapter in the lives of Jason, Drew, and Danny is sure to be one for the history books. Next, we dive into an escalating drama that has fans wondering what will happen next for Michael Corinthos, Jacinda Bracken, and Congressman Drew Cain. The intrigue continues to build as the stakes grow higher and the tension intensifies. Jacinda's world was turned upside down when she ran into Drew Cain at Bobby's on Thursday, setting off a chain of events that may soon have major consequences for Michael. Let's explore how this encounter might change everything and what it means for the complex relationships at play in Port Charles. Jacinda Bracken's encounter with Drew Cain was anything but a casual meeting. Despite the fact that they had discussed Drew in passing, and Jacinda had certainly made it known that she was prepared to deal with whatever came her way, facing Drew in person was a different story altogether. Drew's intimidating presence and his direct threats shook Jacinda more than she anticipated. Talking about taking someone down is one thing, but when faced with the reality of Drew's unyielding stance, Jacinda couldn't help but feel cornered. She might have put on a brave face in the moment, but inside, fear gnawed at her. Drew made it clear that he wasn't afraid to go after her if he thought she posed a threat to his agenda. The momentary fear Jacinda experienced isn't something that can be easily brushed off, especially not in her world, where every decision has consequences. Drew, with his political power and determination to secure his position, has shown that he can be a formidable adversary. What's more troubling for Jacinda is that if Drew senses even a hint of weakness, he could exploit it. She knows that the more she shows fear, the more vulnerable she becomes. Drew, sensing any opportunity to press his advantage, could dig deeper into her past, unraveling the lies and schemes that Jacinda has so carefully managed. For Jacinda, it's a high-stakes game, and every move she makes could shift the balance of power. Michael Corinthos has been a crucial part of her life lately, offering both reassurance and support, but Jacinda isn't entirely certain that this relationship will be enough to shield her from Drew's wrath. Michael has gone to great lengths to ensure that Jacinda doesn't crack under the pressure of his various schemes, particularly his efforts to frame Willow Tate for crimes she didn't commit. This, of course, is a ticking time bomb for Michael. Should Jacinda get cold feet and expose the truth about their collaboration, Michael's entire world would come crashing down. He would not only face exposure for the shooting of Drew but also the possibility of being charged for framing someone else for the crime. This makes his need for Jacinda's cooperation even more urgent. She holds a crucial piece of the puzzle that could either make or break his defense. If Jacinda decides she can't go along with the lie, Michael could be facing far worse consequences than he ever anticipated. While Michael has projected an air of confidence around Jacinda, he understands that she is a wild card, unpredictable and potentially dangerous to his plans if she ever decides to back out. That's why he's constantly keeping a watchful eye on her, hoping that she won't crack under the strain of the lies they've created together. However, Jacinda is beginning to see cracks in the facade of Michael's assurances. Although he's promised that his legal team and resources will keep Drew at bay, she remains uncertain about her own safety and position. Her discomfort is growing, and the more she thinks about it, the more it seems that the path Michael has set for her may not be as foolproof as he claims. If Drew were to catch wind of Jacinda's wavering resolve, she could easily find herself on the receiving end of far more trouble than she anticipated. It's clear that Jacinda is beginning to realize that being a pawn in this dangerous game is more hazardous than she originally thought. Michael's proposal to Jacinda that they fake a romantic relationship, essentially paying her to fall in love with him, raises even more questions. Is this truly the best course of action for both of them, or is Michael simply trying to cover his own tracks while manipulating Jacinda even further? Michael's suggestion echoes the plot of a classic movie, with him cast as the rich, calculating businessman and Jacinda as the woman he needs to fall for him in order to make his alibi more believable. However, there are glaring issues with this plan. Not only does it set up a situation that could backfire horribly if anyone learns the truth, but it also puts Jacinda in an even more precarious position. If the plan is exposed, both she and Michael risk losing everything. While it might make sense for Michael to do whatever he can to protect himself, this is far from a perfect solution. As if the stakes weren't already high enough, Jacinda's life is more complicated than just her association with Michael and Drew. She's built a history in Port Charles, and her past is filled with mistakes and questionable decisions. Jacinda has been upfront about her record of solicitation, and she knows full well that the deals she's made in the past, whether with Nina Reeves or Portia Robinson, are bound to come back to haunt her. Despite her efforts to stay in the shadows, her enemies are many, and they aren't likely to let her off the hook. If Drew Kane doesn't manage to take her down, there are still plenty of others who would be more than happy to make her pay for the scandals she's helped orchestrate. Nina and Portia are already walking a fine line, hoping that Jacinda will keep quiet about the affair setup, but even they can't guarantee that their secrets will stay safe forever. Even if Jacinda agrees to remain in Michael's corner, there's no certainty that her loyalty will last. The pressure is mounting, and her desire to escape from the drama is becoming stronger by the day. Michael's encounter with Jacinda at the PC Grill may have made her feel momentarily reassured, but the idea of continuing to lie and play along with his scheme might be more than she can handle. Michael may have every intention of using her testimony to bolster his case, but what happens if Jacinda decides she can't stomach the lies anymore? If she pulls away or even decides to tell the truth, Michael could find himself facing an entirely new set of problems. As much as Michael tries to maintain control of the situation, there's a very real possibility that Jacinda could be the one who turns the tables, leaving him without the alibi he so desperately needs. The question remains, will Jacinda ultimately stick with Michael and help him carry out his deceit, or will Drew's threats and the growing weight of her own conscience push her into making a deal with the devil? If she decides to side with Drew, could she be bought off with promises of safety and money? Or will Michael's hold over her prove strong enough to keep her in line, at least for now? The twists and turns in this tangled web of lies are only just beginning to unfold, and only time will tell how far Jacinda will go to protect herself, and whether Michael's plan will truly work in the end. As the tension mounts, viewers are left on the edge of their seats, wondering what will happen next in this high-stakes game of deception. Will Jacinda play her cards right and stay on Michael's side, or will her fear of Drew and the growing pressure from everyone around her drive her to make a choice that no one can predict? Next, we're diving deep into a complex love triangle that's about to explode in Port Charles, shaking up relationships, secrets, and family dynamics. Jordan Ashford, Portia Robinson, and Curtis Ashford are once again at the center of a whirlwind that could forever change their lives. The drama is intensifying as Portia finds herself in an increasingly difficult situation, unsure who the father of her baby is, her husband Curtis or her lover Isaiah Gannon. The answers to these questions hold the key to unlocking the next phase of their tumultuous love lives. But that's not all. There's more drama brewing between these characters and other residents of Port Charles, especially with Jordan's role in stirring up conflict. Let's break it all down and see what's to come for these beloved characters. At the heart of the storm is Portia Robinson, who finds herself pregnant and facing a dilemma that could tear her life apart. As viewers know, Portia has been caught in a complicated web of emotions, relationships, and secrets for some time now. She has been married to Curtis Ashford, a man she has a deep connection with. However, her affair with Isaiah Gannon, a man who has become more than just a fling, has complicated everything. The question now is, who is the father of Portia's baby? Is it Curtis, the man she's pledged her life to, or is it Isaiah, the man who has captured her heart in ways that Curtis no longer can? The situation has put Portia in a very tight spot, and she is clearly overwhelmed. On one hand, she has the love and stability that Curtis offers her, and on the other, she has the intense passion and excitement that comes with Isaiah. But now, with a baby on the way, Portia is caught in the middle of this love triangle, unsure of how to move forward. She's kept her secret close to the chest, trying to keep both men in the dark while she figures out her next steps. However, keeping the secret is proving to be much harder than she anticipated, and the pressure is mounting. How long can she keep up the charade? The truth is bound to come out sooner or later, and when it does, it will have devastating consequences for everyone involved. Jordan Ashford, always one to dig into the lives of others, is another key player in this drama. Jordan has been a longtime friend of Portia's, but her curiosity and need to meddle have led her to get involved in Portia's business in a very direct way. When Jordan saw Portia's behavior at a recent party, declining alcohol and appearing nauseous, she quickly jumped to conclusions and began speculating about Portia's condition. With her suspicions raised, Jordan couldn't resist the temptation to confront Portia. This confrontation was, of course, highly inappropriate, especially given the sensitive nature of the situation. Jordan pushed Portia to confess, but Portia denied everything, trying to keep the secret under wraps. Despite this, Jordan continued to pry, feeling as though she had a right to know what was going on. Jordan's behavior didn't stop there. After the party, she rushed straight to Anna Devane to spill the tea, as if this was just another juicy piece of gossip. Jordan's need to involve others in her discovery seemed to cross a line, and many fans are questioning whether she's overstepping her bounds. While Jordan may have been trying to help, her actions came off as invasive and meddlesome, especially when she later made the decision to confront Curtis directly about Portia's possible pregnancy. In many ways, Jordan's behavior mirrors that of a high school gossip, passing along information that she has no business sharing. The real question now is, does Jordan have any right to insert herself into Portia's life, or should she take a step back and let Portia deal with her personal matters in her own way? Things took an even more dramatic turn when Trina Robinson, Portia's daughter, witnessed the confrontation between Jordan and Portia. Trina, who has grown incredibly close to Curtis over the years, has always viewed him as a father figure. The idea of her parents divorcing has shaken her to the core, as she's finally gotten the family dynamic she's always wanted. When she learned of Curtis and Portia's potential separation, Trina was devastated, and her emotions were raw. Seeing Jordan's interference only added fuel to the fire, prompting Trina to step in and lecture Jordan about staying out of her father's business. Trina's words were harsh, but they came from a place of love and concern for her family. She's fiercely protective of Curtis, and she doesn't want anyone, especially Jordan, getting in the way of her family's happiness. Trina's intervention was an important moment in this drama, highlighting her growing sense of agency and independence. She's no longer the child who relies on her parents for answers, she's now someone who is willing to stand up for herself and those she loves. In her eyes, Curtis is an adult who can make his own decisions, and she doesn't need Jordan, or anyone else, telling him what to do. However, Trina's actions have raised questions about her role in the family. While it's understandable that she wants to protect her father, some fans feel that she may be overstepping by trying to dictate how Curtis handles his relationships. It's a delicate balance between protecting loved ones and respecting their autonomy, and Trina's desire to control the situation may ultimately backfire. For Jordan, the lecture from Trina was a major blow. She was taken aback by Trina's boldness and felt a sense of disbelief that a teenager would lecture her about her adult relationships. It was a humbling moment for Jordan, who is used to being in control of situations and guiding others. Trina's outburst not only highlighted the growing tensions between these characters but also showed the extent to which Portia's family dynamics have become more complicated. Jordan, for all her meddling, was caught off guard by Trina's defense of her father, and it remains to be seen how this confrontation will affect their relationship moving forward. As this love triangle continues to unfold, fans are left wondering who will come out on top. Will Portia finally confess the truth about her pregnancy, and if so, how will Curtis and Isaiah react? Will Curtis and Portia's marriage survive this scandal, or will the revelation of the baby's paternity tear them apart? And what role will Jordan continue to play in all of this? Will she learn to step back, or will her interference create even more chaos in Portia's life? In addition to the romantic drama, there's the issue of trust. Portia has a history of making poor decisions when it comes to keeping secrets, and many fans are speculating that she may lie about the father of her child to avoid hurting anyone's feelings. This would be in line with Portia's pattern of avoiding conflict at all costs, even if it means deceiving those closest to her. However, this decision could backfire spectacularly if the truth eventually comes out. Given the stakes, it's clear that everyone involved is in for a roller coaster ride of emotions, betrayals, and heartbreaks. So, what do you think, General Hospital fans? Will Portia confess the truth about her baby's paternity, or will she continue to hide the secret? Will Jordan continue to meddle in Portia's life, or will she back off? And how will Curtis and Isaiah react when they finally find out the truth? The drama is only just beginning, and we can't wait to see how this love triangle unfolds. Stay tuned for more spoilers and updates from Port Charles.